TraderJud here with an all-new series starting out today. We're going to call this crypto charting series. I'm going to do it once a week, every Wednesday. Going to go over 5 cryptocurrency pairs, charting them up on TradingView. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Looking at Bitcoin first. On the weekly chart, last week's candlestick was sort of a doji, as you can see with Bitcoin. We had that huge spike a number of months ago, topped out at 20,000, and now has been trending downwards since then. So we're waiting to see if we're going to see some relief on most of the cryptocurrency pairs are doing this, have this same outlook on the weekly time frame. So we're just waiting to see some bullish movement come into Bitcoin. Dropping down to the daily time frame, added a horizontal line, which is based off of a peak over here and then 2 peaks down here. Also added this trend line. So this is pretty easy to read. We're waiting for price to either break below this level, which if it does break below this level, that's a bad outlook for Bitcoin. We do not want to see it break and retest and then close below this horizontal line. On the flip side, what we do want to see is a break and a retest of this trend line for bullish momentum, especially if we can get a break of structure, right? If we can get a higher high, then that would be ideal with Bitcoin going forward. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, I've added a couple more trend lines, and I've also added this wedge right here. So this is more short-term stuff. If we get a breakout of either side of this wedge, we'll be looking for a retest of the breakout, followed by either a retest of the horizontal line that I drew on the weekly time frame, or on the daily time frame, or a retest of this trend line that was also drawn on the daily time frame. I added in this trend line as well, and what we can see with this trend line is that we did have a break and a perfect retest, and then it is going bullish after that, and so that's a good sign. If you got in on the break and the retest of this trend line, good for you. But yeah, that's what I see for Bitcoin. So just keep an eye out. We're waiting to see reactions on either one of these trend lines break out of either side of this before buying or selling. If you are not trading Bitcoin but just buying and holding, then opportunities to buy more would be breaks and retests of this trend line, break and retests of this trend line. If you're looking for opportunities to sell the Bitcoin that you're currently holding, depending on where you bought it, if you see a rejection off of this trend line, you could sell there. If you see a rejection off of this trend line, you can sell there. If you see a break and a retest of this trend line, this weekly trend line that's drawn, then you're going to want to hold for quite some time. But that's what I see with Bitcoin this week. Moving on to the next cryptocurrency. Next pair or next cryptocurrency that we're going to be looking at is Ethereum. I should have noted this. If you can't tell on the charts, I am doing everything based off of USD, so Bitcoin USD, Ethereum USD, so on and so forth. So these are all cryptocurrency pairs based off of the US dollar. But for Ethereum, on the weekly time frame, last week's candlestick was slightly bearish. Slightly bullish. I threw on the Fibonacci retracement. It's based off of $0 up until the ultimate high. You can see that we broke the 70.7, and it's currently sitting right on the 70.7 level. We want this week's candlestick, if you're pro bullish on Ethereum, you want this week's candlestick to close above the 70.7. We can see, which I think that I should show you on lower time frames, that we're retesting these levels down here, which is why we're seeing that bullish momentum. So this is the horizontal line that I was talking about on the weekly time frame. We can see that we're retesting those levels. This trend line is drawn, this trend line is drawn. Those are just based off of, this is from the ultimate low up until this point right here. There is no other points touching. And then obviously this trend line is based off of the ultimate high and then the next point. So what we're looking for with this is for Ethereum to commit to going either above or below this this horizontal line, the support and resistance level, because it is touching pretty much the only support, as we can see, or the only support and resistance level left, if you will. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for clear-cut rejection off of these 2 points, which we have not gotten yet. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, I've added this consolidation box, which price is currently attempting to break out of. We'll have to wait and see if it does break out of that. If it does break out of this consolidation box, I probably will not buy it until it breaks out of this trend line as well, retests and then continues upward. I did add this horizontal line as well. Much like Bitcoin, we had a breakout of that. I keep saying horizontal, off of this trend line, excuse me. And we did see a break and a retest of this trend line, and then it went bullish, much like Bitcoin did as well. So we're waiting for a breakout of the consolidation box. If it does break out to the upside, we're waiting for a retest and continuation upward for Ethereum. So definitely a point where you should not be buying just quite yet. We want to see with these 2 points coming up, both the breakout of the consolidation box and possible rejection or a break and retest of this weekly or daily trend line. That's when you should be waiting for the buy, in my opinion. And adversely, if it does come down and break out of this consolidation box to the downside, then you'll be looking for sells if you're trading Ethereum, and if you're buying and holding Ethereum, then I would advise to maybe cut your losses and wait for other opportunities to buy if it does break out to the below this consolidation box. But that's what I see for Ethereum this week. Let's wait and see what the price does breaking out of this consolidation box before we go ahead and do anything with Ethereum. All right, Ripple's going to be next. Looking at the weekly time frame, last week's candlestick was slightly, it ended up slightly bullish. However, it was a large wick to the upside. So that's not significant in either direction, in my opinion. Price is currently sitting right on the 88.6 retracement from the ultimate low and the ultimate high. And so we're looking for a rejection off the 88.6. If price does break below the 88.6, then I expect that Ripple will probably die. That's pretty much its last chance. So while Ripple is still extremely valuable in a sense that there's a large market value for Ripple, we want to see clear-cut direction, specifically clear-cut bullish movement off of the 88.6 as far as the weekly time frame goes. Looking at the daily time frame, I've added some support and resistance levels, as well as this ray down at the bottom that signifies the ultimate low. This is the next support and resistance level up. If the 88.6 does get broken, which is this horizontal line right here, then this is our last hope for Ripple. That's the absolute last hope. The 30.391 level, pretty much the 30-cent level is where we're looking at. We don't want the 30-cent level to be broken. If it is broken, then Ripple will more than likely fold and will not be relevant anymore. So looking where price is at right now, we can see the last few days worth of candlesticks have not been significant at all. We don't see a lot of movement with Ripple right now. This trend line is really the best trend line that I could find. I spent quite a while charting up the daily of Ripple, and it was just really difficult for me to find any trend lines that were valid to draw. So this is the one trend line that I have drawn. Everything else is support and resistance levels, and this is what we're looking for Ripple to do. We're looking for Ripple, as I said, on the weekly time frame. We're looking at it to bounce off the 88.6 and go bullish. Hopefully breaking through not only this trend line but also this support and resistance level, which is based off of market structure. If we can get a break of this support and resistance level, then I'll start feeling a lot better about where Ripple is going. But for right now, I would stay away from Ripple, honestly. It's not a good time to buy until we have clear-cut direction to the upside, and that's just not there yet. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, this is much like both Bitcoin and Ethereum. We have this trend line drawn. We have a breakout of the trend line, a retest, and now it's continuing upward. So hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be able to see some bullish momentum coming out of Ripple. I've also added this zone. It's based off of this candlestick right here, this bullish candlestick right here. Reason why that's drawn is because of this point right here and this point right here. So we need price to break through that. If it does break below what was a ray on the daily time frame, now I've changed it into a trend line on this one. If we see a break and a retest of that, like I said, this 30-cent level down here is kind of our last hope as far as bullish momentum goes. So keep an eye on Ripple. It's not something that I would be jumping into right now, but there is potential. We just got to see bullish momentum. I would like to see a break of structure on the 4-hour time frame before buying Ripple. Of course, that's completely up to you. That's just my outlook on it. I would not be buying Ripple right now. I would be waiting for either a break of structure on the 4-hour time frame, or if we can get a breakout of this zone with a retest and a continuation upward, or even if you're planning on holding Ripple for a long time, we'd be looking for a break of this trend line or a break of this horizontal line up here. That's what I see with Ripple this week. Let's move on to the next pair. All right, next up is going to be Litecoin. Litecoin, last week's candlestick was this, ended up slightly bullish, but it's a hammer. It was also rejecting what I believe is the 70.7. Yeah, so the 70.7 rejected right there. I apologize for having that cut off. All right, it was 23.6, 38.2, 50, 61. Yeah, 70.7 is what it's rejecting. So we had that candlestick, not last week's candlestick, but the week before that. Break through it. Last week's candlestick rejected that. So we're looking for either bearish momentum down to the next level, which would be the 78.2, or bullish momentum coming through and breaking above the 70.7 level on the weekly. Looking at the daily time frame, this zone drawn is based off of this point right here because it touches this point and also touches these price rejected it right here, excuse me. Trend line is fairly simple. Both of these trend lines are both pretty simple. So we're just waiting to see if price is going to commit to breaking out of this trend line or breaking below this zone and this trend line to the downside. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, not a lot of significant movement on Litecoin right now either. This zone on below where price is based off of this area right here. I believe it was this bullish candlestick right there. The zone above where price is based off of this candlestick right here. And that the only reason I added that zone is because price respected it right here. And so the arrows kind of tell the story of where Litecoin could go. If it does go bearish, we're looking for a break through the zone, a retest of the trend line and the zone before continuing downward. If we see some bullish momentum, we're looking for a breakout of the top of this trend line, possibly retesting this zone drawn, coming down, retesting the trend line, then either breaking through the zone and retesting it, continuing bullish, or rejecting that zone again for what would be the third time, and then coming back down and possibly bouncing in between these zones. But that's what I see for Litecoin this week. It's pretty much the same across the board with all cryptocurrencies right now. We have this major weekly trend line, weekly, daily trend line on all of them that price needs to break above. And then once we see price breaking above that trend line, most cryptocurrencies should go bullish then. And we should see substantial gains. And I think probably in quarter number 2 of this year, we should see significant financial gains, significant rebounds on cryptocurrencies. And the technicals kind of support that. We're waiting for a break and a retest. So charts support that. We're not there yet, but we should be there here in the coming weeks. And that's really why I started doing this charting series when I did, is because I want to be able to document that going forward. So that's enough rambling for me, though. That's what I see for Litecoin this week. Let's go ahead and move on to the next pair. For our last cryptocurrency this week, we're looking at Monero. Monero on the weekly time frame, last week's candlestick ended up in a doji. You can see this week has gone bearish so far. For those of you that don't know, these candlesticks reset on Mondays. I'm not sure exactly the time on Mondays, but it's every Monday that the weekly candlestick paints. So I guess it would depend on where you live as to what time, but I'm not sure what time locally it paints. So looking at Monero, not last week, but the week before last, we got the 61.8 break. Monero is currently approaching a strong support and resistance level to the left based on previous market structure. Let's go ahead and drop down to the daily time frame. Monero is difficult to chart, specifically on the daily time frame, because there's not a lot of good connecting places that's close to price to draw trend lines. Of course, there's this one down below, but as far as above where price is, there's not a lot of good spots to draw trend lines. So this is the trend line that I ended up drawing. It's not exactly ideal. I don't like to draw, especially when looking at the daily time frame, I don't like to draw trend lines that are that small or that consolidated. But this is the only relevant one that I could find to draw. This is the horizontal line, the support and resistance level that I was talking about, where price was approaching it. This trend line, or I should say the trend line above or below, excuse me, where price is at, is also right around that same level, and so we should probably see a retest of this trend line and or of the previous market structure before going bullish. So I see potential for a little bit more bearish momentum before going bullish. However, if we do get a break and a retest of this trend line to the upside, then we should see significant bullish movement, because again, the next trend lines are way up here. That's a significant gains. We're looking at potential $100 bullish movement as far as where price is at right now. So from 165 to 265, somewhere around there. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, same trend line on the weekly. I've added these two horizontal rays because price has been respecting this level, and then this is based off of previous market structure right there, consolidation right on this level, and then right here as well. So these arrows kind of tell the story of where Monero can go. It's going to be, I think, a pretty rocky ride no matter which direction Monero decides to go. There's a lot of support down below, and then there is significant resistance up above as well. So I guess just trade what you see. If you're looking to buy Monero, I want a break of structure before I'm buying, which has not happened yet. We've had all of these respects on this level, which is what, 162-ish, somewhere around there, 161, 162, but we haven't seen a break of structure yet, and so I'm wanting to see a break of structure, preferably above this level, if not above this level, which would be 190. If we see a break above 190, that's a significant break and retest of this trend line as well, and so we should be comfortable buying then, but we'll just have to wait and see. So that's what I see with Ripple, with Monero this week. If you have any questions or requests to do any other cryptocurrency pairs, go ahead and drop a comment in the comments section or shoot me a message on Telegram. My Telegram contact information is in the description down below. If you have not liked this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the TraderJud channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Support me. If you haven't watched any of my Forex videos or you're not sure what Forex is, It's essentially the same thing as trading these cryptocurrency pairs, except for it's with actual currencies instead of cryptocurrencies. It's same concept, just slightly different. Essentially, it's not quite as radical as cryptocurrencies are. It's not nearly as volatile usually as cryptocurrencies are, but it's still extremely profitable. Usually, if you've heard of cryptocurrency trading, you've heard of Forex, you've heard of the foreign currency exchange trading. But if you haven't, go ahead and check out those videos. Check out the Profit Society, fxe.com, if you're interested in learning how to trade not only cryptocurrencies but Forex as well. Yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. This is, again, video number 1 of a new series that I'm going to be doing every Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that week in and week out. Thank you again, and I'll see you next week.